Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Sarah and in this video we're going to be looking at the Pilates A, B and C. So this stands for alignment, breathing and core, and these three elements are really important and fundamental to what makes Pilates what it is, and we need to know these things before we do any exercise at all. Okay, so we're going to have a look at your alignment first. We need to find your neutral posture or your ideal alignment, and we're going to do that in standing. So if you bring your feet together, just stand up, relax your shoulders. We're going to start by just turning the toes out to the side at a 10 to 2 position. Now gently lift your heels. We're going to take them out to the sides and place them back down. So your feet, when you look down, will be facing forward and your feet are hip width apart. So this is a really stable position for your hip joint. Okay, make sure your body weight's evenly balanced between the front and the back of each foot. So ideally, you want body weight in the big toe, the little toe and the heel of each foot. We're going to keep the knees soft. And now we're going to look at the pelvis. So we need to look at a neutral pelvic position. So I'll turn to the side so you can see what's happening, but you're going to place one hand on your front and one hand behind your back. Okay, we're going to start with pelvic tilts. Just gently tucking the tailbone under and lifting the tailbone up behind you. So rocking the pelvis gently forwards and backwards. Go nice and slowly. And try not to force the body here because the lower back muscles can be sometimes a little bit tight. So be mindful of any areas that might feel a bit tender or a little bit sore as you go. But try and keep your rib cage still as well so that you're not tipping the whole body. It's just the pelvis that we're moving. Alright, now when you think you've found the middle of that range of movement, let's just hold it there. This should be our neutral pelvic position. We can check by just placing the hands on the tummy, just underneath your tummy button and joining the thumbs and the forefingers together. And when you look down, you should have created like a diamond or a triangle shape here. And that shape should be reflecting or directed onto the wall in front of you. So if it's tipping towards you or away from you, just level it up and that should be your neutral pelvic position. Okay, relax your arms by your sides, palms facing in. And let's just have those shoulders back and down, but relaxed as well. Try not to be too rigid and just lift your breastbone slightly. And this will give you a more comfortable and neutral scapular positioning. So your shoulder blades should be more or less flush with your back. All right, now let's lengthen through the spine. So we need to have the chin level with the floor. And imagine you have a piece of string pulling you up from the top of your head towards the ceiling. Let's lengthen through and let's make sure all the vertebrae are evenly spaced. So you have a nice neutral posture. Okay, so this is your ideal alignment or neutral, as you'll hear me say if you choose to do one of my workouts. Okay, and we need to adopt this position whether we're standing or whether we're in side lying on our fronts. Okay, anytime we want to start an exercise, we find neutral, and this is what's meant by that. Now we're going to have a look at the B, the breathing. Okay, so let's just start to breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth. You're going to start by breathing deeply, so towards your tummy button. And this is going to encourage you to take as much air into the lungs as you can. So in everyday life, we tend to breathe a little bit shallow up here. So let's get as much air into the lungs as possible. Keep those shoulders back and down. You can place your hands on your tummy if you like, so that when you take that in breath, you might feel your tummy expand slightly and then contract as you breathe out. Now we're going to come back to the breathing because we need to engage our core next, which is your tummy muscles and your pelvic floor muscles. So when we do that, we have to alter the way we breathe here. So let's go to the C next and have a look at the core. All right, the core, all important in Pilates. It serves a multitude of functions and it's made up of two parts. So we have your abdominal muscles, but the pelvic floor muscles as well. So we'll look at the abs first. Now on your next exhale, just draw your tummy button as tightly towards your spine as you can. Imagine you're doing up a belt as tight as you can. Perfect, and you'll feel your abdominal muscles switch on here. Now we just need to let that out. So let it out by about half. We don't ever need to be too tight. We just want a little bit of activation around your abdominals. And you have a belt of muscle that goes around your waist. It's called your transverse abdominis. So that should be a little bit tighter as well. All right, that's part one of the core. Let's relax that and have a look at the pelvic floor muscles next. Now, these are really tiny muscles. They're quite difficult to locate if you're not used to it. So there is a really good analogy that I've heard once before, and I think it's fantastic. A little bit of a shout out to a chappie called Adam Kay. He wrote a book called This Is Going to Hurt, and I found this analogy from there. So it does work. It's quite graphic. You have to imagine that you are naked in a bath full of eels, and you don't want those eels to go anywhere they shouldn't. So hopefully that will help you to find those pelvic floor muscles. So if that's worked for you, on your next out breath, just give those muscles a squeeze, and you have to try and pull them up towards the rib cage like you're doing up a zip. You're drawing them in that direction. Okay, let's just relax everything, because we need to go in and up at exactly the same time, and that is how we engage the core. So on your next out breath, let's do that. Drawing that tummy button in, drawing the pelvic floor muscles up, and keeping those muscles held. Remember, you don't want to be too tight, you just want a little bit of activation. That's your core engagement. Perfect. Let's go back to the breathing. So now we have the tummy muscles a little bit tighter. It's more difficult to breathe down. So we have to do something called lateral breathing in Pilates. So when you take that in breath, you're going to channel the air through the sides and the back of the rib cage instead of going down. So let's practice that. You can pop your hands on the side of your ribs, and when you take that breath in, this should happen. You'll see that the rib cage expands sideways, and then it contracts as we breathe out. Let's just keep the shoulders back and down. Have a little go at that. If it doesn't come naturally at first, please don't worry. Okay, as long as you keep your core engaged and you remember to breathe while you're exercising, it will all just happen naturally over time. You'll be doing it without even thinking about it. Okay, now that's your ABC. So you know your ABC in Pilates, you're ready to work out. So why don't you hop over to the channel and have a look at all my workouts and see if there's something there that might suit you. Have a little go at some Pilates. Thanks very much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.